Okay, everyone, let's take a look at Chapter 12, Contactors and Magnetic Motor Starters. Knife switches were the first devices used to start and stop electric motors. A knife switch is enclosed in a steel housing, has an insulated external handle, and includes an operating spring for improved operation and safety. Manual contactors. A manual contactor uses push buttons to energize or de-energize the load connected to it. Double break contacts break an electrical circuit in two places. A three-phase manual contactor has three sets of normally open double break contacts. The oxide or rust that forms on silver alloy contacts is an excellent conductor of electricity. A wiring diagram shows the connection of an installation or its component devices or parts. In the wiring diagram for a dual element heater with pilot lights, the low heating element is operated when the low contacts in L1 and L2 are closed so that a connection is made to the low and common terminals of the heater. In the wiring diagram for a dual element heater with pilot lights, the high heat heating element is operated when the high contacts in L1 and L2 are closed so that a connection is made to the high and common terminals of the heater. Manual starters. A manual starter is a contactor with an added overload protective device. The three stages a motor goes through during normal operation include resting, starting, and operating under load. A motor overload relay is required that does not open a circuit while a motor is starting, but opens the circuit if the motor gets overloaded and the fuses do not blow. A heater coil is a sensing device used to monitor the heat generated by excessive current and the heat created through ambient temperature rise. Most manufacturers use a ratchet wheel and eutectic alloy combination to activate a trip mechanism when an overload occurs. In a manual starter overload relay, the compressed spring tries to push the normally closed contacts open under normal operating conditions. The overload relay is reset by pressing the reset button, which forces the pawl across the ratchet wheel until the contacts are closed and the spring and ratchet wheel are returned to their original condition. AC manual starters are selected based on phasing, number of poles, voltage, starter size, and enclosure type. AC manual contactors can be divided into single-phase and three-phase contactors. Manual motor starters are used in applications such as conveyor systems and drill presses. Magnetic contactors. Contactors are used to make and break the electrical power circuit to lights, heaters, transformers, and capacitors. Solenoid action is the principal operating mechanism for magnetic contactors. In two-wire control, the two wires lead from the control device to the contactor or starter. In three-wire control, three wires lead from the control device to the starter or contactor. A step-down control transformer is used to step down the voltage to the level required in the control circuit. Contactors have either an AC coil or a DC coil, and they may either have AC or DC contacts. An electrical arc is created between contacts as they are open. Prolonged arcing may result in damage to the contact surfaces. The maximum arcing current is reached only once during any half cycle of AC voltage. Arc chutes and arc traps are used to confine, divide, and extinguish arcs drawn between contacts opened under load. The direction of the magnetic field around the conductor is determined by wrapping the right or left hand around the conductor. The electron flow motor rule indicates the motion of an arc cutting through magnetic lines of force. Electromagnetic blowout coils rapidly extinguish DC arcs. Tables indicate the number and size designations and establish the current load carried by each contact in a contactor. Contactor dimensions vary from inches to several feet in length. Magnetic motor starters. A magnetic motor starter is a contactor that includes overload protection. Magnetic overload relays use a current coil that, at a specific overcurrent value, acts like a solenoid and causes a set of normally closed contacts to open. The warping effect of a bimetallic strip is used as a means for separating contacts. Strip indicators indicate that an overload has taken place within the device. Standard overload relays may be used on very large starters by using current transformers with specific reduction ratios. The nameplate of a magnetic motor starter includes the class, type, and size of the starter. Manufacturer instructions on thermal overload relay selection detail restrictions that are placed on classes of starters. Manufacturers provide charts to use for selecting proper overload relays. Special overload heater selection tables provide multipliers to compensate for ambient temperature above or below the standard temperature of 40 degrees Celsius. Most manufacturers provide charts for approximating full load current when motor nameplate information is not available. A magnetic motor starter can be used to control a pump motor. Bimetallic thermal discs are normally used on small horsepower motors to directly disconnect the motor from the power circuit. A thermistor overload device combines a thermistor, solid-state relay, and contactor into a custom-built overload protector. Circuit breakers perform the same function as fuses and are tested in the same manner. Contactor and magnetic motor starter modifications. The devices that may be added to a basic contactor or magnetic motor starter to extend their capability include electrical contacts, power poles, pneumatic timers, transient suppression models, and control circuit fuse holders. Troubleshooting contactors and motor starters. The contactor or motor starter is the first device checked when troubleshooting a circuit that does not work or has a problem. A troubleshooting guide used when troubleshooting contactors and motor starters states a problem, its possible causes or causes, and corrective actions that may be taken. Alright everyone, that was it for that session. Next session will be DC motors, and I will see you over there.